Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about PlayStation 3 emulation with RPCS3, and RPCS3 got a small but nice update. So if you're a fan of save states, you might like this update. Fix one game filtering when launched from a game context menu. Also filter out save states with games no longer installed. Format specially closed states, such as when save states were made today or yesterday instead of showing the full date. And add an option in the game context menu to boot the directly last save state file created without launching the manager. And speaking about PlayStation 3 emulation, next up we're talking about PS3 emulation on Android with the unofficial port of RPCS3 to Android, APS3E. And APS3E also got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, the latest and greatest version of APS3E is version 1.31. It is up on GitHub, and it's also available on the Google Play Store and has also been updated on the Google Play Store. And speaking about small updates, next up we're going back one generation and talking about PlayStation 2 emulation with PCSX2. And PCSX2 also gets updated quite frequently and just received a small but nice update. Now, to be honest with you, I was debating on whether or not to showcase this update, but here we are. Let me know your thoughts. It is for the Windows operating system, and they've optimized the Qt build for size. They say optimizes the Qt build for size saving around 1.8 megabytes on the total size of PCSX2. So if space saving was one of your concerns, this update might be exciting. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, like everything we talk about, links will be within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. I don't hide my sources. Moving on, and we're talking about the unofficial PC port of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, known as the Ship of Harkinian. And the Ship of Harkinian just got a brand new update. So at the time of filming, the latest update to the Ship of Harkinian is version 9.1.0, Copper Alpha. And taking a look, there is a lot of stuff in here, a bunch of bug fixes, improvements, tweaks, and even more. For example here, the built-in mod menu now includes ordering functionality, allowing for explicit ordering. And also enable mods and tab hotkey checkboxes now reside in this menu. For the preset manager, allows for saving of each of the following sections individually or in any combination. Settings and enhancements minus audio and cosmetics. Rando, trackers, and network. Built-in presets use the same system but can also be hidden in the satellite dropdowns. And each preset is stored in its own file in the presets folder. On top of that, they say this version can now utilize mods based on streamed audio formats like MP3, WAV, OGG, and FLAC. And on top of that, there is a whole lot more here. There's a new shuffle, tree sanity, rando, shuffle thieves, hideout entrances, and even more. If you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, links are within the GitHub link in the bottom of the description below. And speaking about new releases, next up here, we're talking about Sega Dreamcast emulation on the PlayStation Classic with Flycast. A very interesting combination. Anyways here, Flycast 2.1 for the PlayStation Classic has just dropped. I would say that this may be a little bit niche, but at the same time, if you are interested and wanted to learn more about it, again, like everything we talk about, you know where the links are. This is very interesting overall, and imagine playing Dreamcast games on a PlayStation. Pretty cool. And speaking about pretty cool stuff, next up we're talking about an interview that's about to pop up on YouTube that I would recommend checking out whenever it's live. And that is an interview with the ZSNES Creator. So if you're a fan of emulation, if you're a fan of SNES emulation, or if you're a fan of nostalgic emulators like ZSNES, this may be worth something checking out. So the title of this one is How ZSNES Changed SNES Emulation Forever. I think I just said worth something checking out instead of something worth checking out. Anyways, they say here it's one of the most influential emulators of all time, and it began as a simple project in 1997. And on a side note here, and as a quick refresher, because we've talked about this one in previous videos, but the developer of ZSNES has a brand new game up on Steam called Retro Endurance 8-Bit. And this game is currently in early access, but the price point is super low. I mean, it's $5 Canadian. Now, for full transparency, I have not checked out Retro Endurance just yet, but it is on my radar, and I probably will be picking it up. I mean, there's 48 different 8-bit style games in there with more to come. And these games, while they look pretty interesting overall, they might not be super deep, but that's not the purpose of the game. I think this one is super cool. And speaking about friendly heads ups and super cool, next up we're talking about Mortal Kombat 2, and this segment is really quick. It's being reported that the Mortal Kombat 2 movie will now release a week earlier. It is still set to release in May 2026. So if you're looking forward to this one, I know I am. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it, but I am looking forward to it. You don't even have to wait a week longer now. It's a week earlier. And before we go to the next segment, I'll tell you specifics. So taking a look on Insider Gaming, I guess the previous release date was May 22nd, and now it's going to be May 15th. And speaking about Warner Brothers, next up we're talking about Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Discovery. And this is an announcement right on the Warner Brothers Discovery website. And here's the headline. Warner Brothers Discovery initiates review of potential alternatives to maximize shareholder value. So based on that headline and also based on the information in the article, which in my opinion is a lot of jargon. Anyways, here, the main reports about this one that I've seen online is that they're announcing a sale bid, potentially impacting game divisions. Now, I would say we're going to have to wait to see what happens here in terms of an overall sale, if it's going to be sold as a whole, if it's going to be parted out, or what exactly is going on. Only time will tell. And I am curious to see if it is parted out, what it's going to part with, and also for how much, and what the new company taking over this stuff is going to do with it. Let me know your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Next up here, we're talking about something that's making a few headlines, and that's Scarface The World Is Yours. This game has popped up on Epic and also Steam with a release date to be announced. Now, this game was released back in 2006, and from my understanding, there was a bit of a licensing headache trying to get the game re-released. I am curious to see if these listings are real or fake. There is some debate about that online, and it looks like it's more real than fake. Anyways here, listen to this description. Scarface The World Is Yours returns in this re-release of the original classic third-person open-world action game, featuring an optional HD graphics mode, and it's going to be DLC. However, it is worth pointing out there is a star beside this one, and they say, subject to change, further details will be announced at a later time. So I don't know if they've got this one figured out yet. And they do announce that there is AI-generated content, and certain elements in the game were improved using AI-assisted techniques, which I'm guessing is the HD graphics mode. Could be wrong. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you're interested in a re-release of Scarface The World Is Yours. And speaking about upcoming stuff on Steam, next up we're talking about a brand new feature Steam is unveiling here, and it's called the Personal Calendar. They say Steam Labs Experiment 16, a calendar of recent and upcoming releases full of personalized recommendations for you. They go on to say, today we've launched a new store feature designed to help you find your next favorite game. The new Steam Personalized Calendar is a look at both recently released and upcoming games, filtered down to the set of games we think you are most likely to be interested in. We're launching this feature as a Steam Labs experiment, as we'd like your feedback to help make the best possible version of this tool. Now, to be honest with you, when I first heard about the personal calendar, I wasn't that excited about it. I don't know about you, but for me, Steam doesn't really seem to get me. The store recommendations are not at all what I want to play. And maybe that's because I test out a bunch of different stuff. I mean, I play demos, I try out games here and there, and I just like to experiment and have fun with a bunch of different game styles. Anyways here, maybe that's why my Steam Store recommendations are crap. Anyways here, they do say recommendations based on your playtime, which I am looking forward to. On top of that, the recommendations are refreshed daily. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below, and if you think it's going to be useful or a feature you never pay attention to. But moving on from Steam and talking about a different platform altogether, and we're talking about Xbox. And this is not surprising at all, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be excited about it, but it's being reported that even Xbox developer kits are getting a big price hike. The full article's up on The Verge if you wanted to read more about it, and I would recommend checking it out. Anyways, listen to this. The current Xbox dev kit is moving from $1,500 to $2,000, a 33% jump in price. And this is Microsoft's response. The adjustment reflects macroeconomic developments. I would say maybe they just want more money. I mean, I could be wrong with that, but I don't think so. And I just find it very odd that they're increasing prices this late into the console development cycle, especially when they're talking about the next generation of console. You would think you'd want to entice developers to develop games for your platform. I don't know. I don't know anything, I guess. I mean, let me know your thoughts about this one. I feel we're living in very weird times, seeing console prices increase throughout its overall life cycle instead of seeing them decrease towards the end of the life cycle. This thing does come with 40 gigs of RAM, and there's quite a bit in here that the regular Xbox doesn't have. But at the same time, I'm curious to know how many of these things they actually sell, how many developers don't already have one. And speaking about developers and prices and Xbox, next up here, we're talking about a very interesting interview over on YouTube here from Mashable and Sarah Bond, the Xbox CEO. And it's titled ROG Xbox Ally X Hands-On Interview with Xbox CEO Sarah Bond. Now, the video itself is not very long at all. It's 8 minutes and 23 seconds long, and I would recommend giving it a watch. It's even time-stamped to make things even easier. I mean, they talk about AI, they talk about the Xbox ROG Ally and Ally X, no surprise there. And they also talk about the future of Xbox, which is one thing I want to point out. So when asked about the future of Xbox and in terms of console and PC experience, this is what Sarah Bond says. Well, I can tell you that the next generation console is going to be a very premium, very high-end curated experience. That tells me that the next generation of console is going to be very expensive. Now, on top of that, she also says you're starting to see some of the thinking that we have in this handheld. So that also tells me that a possible Windows-like experience with the game mode, similar to Steam. So I'm not going to lie here, I'm very curious to see the overall direction of Xbox and what is in store for them for the next generation. Will it be simple and straightforward, like a SteamOS experience, and you basically got the best of both worlds? You've got an operating system and a gaming system built into one. I'm betting that the price on this one, again, is probably not going to be cheap, but we'll have to wait and see. If you've got any predictions, let me know in the comments below. And speaking about stuff for Xbox, and I guess also PlayStation and Nintendo, next up here, we're talking about Midnight Landing. Now, I haven't seen this pop up on Steam just yet, but this game is headed to those consoles, I think, tomorrow. And this is a flight simulator from Taito from back in 1987. So if you are a fan of flight simulators, you may want to check out Midnight Landing. And honestly, for a game that was released back in 1987, I think this one looks pretty good. And speaking about games, next up here, we're talking about Angry Birds. And we talked about Angry Birds, well, specifically Rovio, a while back, when Sega ended up purchasing them seemingly out of the blue, and a very weird purchase, at least for my opinion. I wasn't sure why Sega was spending so much money to buy Rovio. Anyways, here it's being reported now that Rovio is laying off 36 staff, saying Angry Birds Dream Blast has not been performing as expected. On a quick side note, if you needed a refresher of Sega's acquisition of Rovio, feel free to check out this announcement from back in April 17th, 2023. And they say here that they were acquiring it for 706 million euros. This was not a cheap acquisition. On top of that, apparently a Rovio spokesperson talked to mobilegamer.biz, and I recommend checking out this article as well. And here is what the spokesperson said. No games have been canceled, but Angry Birds Dream Blast has unfortunately not been performing as expected. Furthermore, they say we are also making some changes in our management structure to reflect our role as a non-listed company, as well as tightening our relations with Sega. With this, our CEO is spending more time around our different Rovio locations and at the Sega of Europe office. These changes resulted in changes in some roles, the creation of several new roles, and a total of 36 employees being made redundant. Next up, we're shifting from Sega to Nintendo and talking about the upcoming Nintendo Direct. Now, there was already a rumor about an upcoming Nintendo Direct, and now it has been confirmed by Nintendo. So on October 23rd at 6 a.m. PT, there will be a Nintendo Direct. It's roughly 60 minutes in length and is going to heavily feature Kirby Air Riders 2. I would be surprised if there is a huge announcement during the Nintendo Direct, but we've been surprised before. My gut tells me it's really just going to be about Kirby Air Riders 2 and possibly a few other things. Let me know your thoughts and predictions. Next up, we're shifting from software to hardware and talking about the the now available Samsung Galaxy XR headset. If you're into XR headsets and into paying $1,800 or $1,799.99 to be specific, you might be excited about this news. So the new Galaxy XR has 256 gigs of storage, it's got 16 gigs of RAM, and a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2. and it doesn't come with a controller. So Galaxy XR controllers right now are 30% off for $175. So overall, this does seem like a pretty premium device. And even taking a look at the screen, and the screen on this one is also premium. 3552 by 3840 and 27 million pixels micro OLED. And speaking about stuff with 16 gigs and also micro, but mini instead of micro. Next up here, we're talking about Zotak and their newest mini PC, which does feature a 5060 Ti with 16 gigs of RAM. And this is a very, very small form factor PC. Now, I don't know about you, but I am very impressed that they were able to cram a desktop 5060 Ti, not a laptop GPU, but an actual desktop GPU into this thing. It is powered by the Core Ultra 7 255HX. I'm guessing that this device is going to be very loud to try to cool it down. Now, pricing for this one may surprise you. It's anticipated to be cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy XR headset that we just talked about. It's guesstimated that this will be about $1,500 US. So overall, I'd say the device is definitely not cheap, but it does cram that desktop GPU into it. I am very curious to see real-world performance numbers. Let me know your thoughts about this one. And speaking about NVIDIA GPUs, next up here we're talking about MacBooks and MacBooks working and utilizing an NVIDIA GPU, an external GPU. So right now it works with any 30, 40, 50 series NVIDIA GPU, and this to me is a really impressive solution. This is all done over USB 4, and if you're interested and wanted to learn more about it, I would recommend checking out this tweet because there's a lot of information there. And if you're wondering why SIP has to be disabled, they say here, Apple still hasn't approved our driver kit signing, so that's why you have to disable SIP. By the way, it also works with RDNA 2, 3, and 4 AMD GPUs. Last up here, we're switching from hardware to software and talking about EA. And if you're a fan of The Sims Mobile, you're not going to be a fan of this announcement. EA is killing the game. So this information is right up on EA's website, and they say here, after 7 years and more than 50 updates, The Sims Mobile team has some important news to share. This will be the final update for The Sims Mobile from January 20th, 2026 at 1:59 p.m. UTC. The Sims Mobile will no longer be accessible to play and will be sunset. And they say they want to say thank you, but basically thank you, and yeah, the game's going away. Now, if you've never played The Sims Mobile, you may not get a chance to because it was delisted from the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store on October 21st. As for the FAQs, there are a couple of questions here you may be interested in. 1, can I still play after the game is delisted? And the answer, yes, if you already have The Sims Mobile installed, you can keep playing until January 20th. Can I still play after TSM sunsets on January 20th? No, TSM requires online servers to play, so playing it in any form will no longer be possible after this date. I am curious to see if modders end up modding this game in some way, shape, or form to keep it playable, but at the same time here, this is one of the huge pitfalls to games that require online servers. And also spending money in this, because once those servers are shut down, I would say your money is kind of gone. You enjoy the game while it's there, and once the game is gone, everything, including the money you've spent for it, is gone. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. She is in another room absolutely passed out and snoring, and I'm not about to bother her. We talked about a bunch today. Feel free to discuss anything we talked about in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.